Hey there, Sandi Star, Sandi Star Wellness. I am going to hopefully share my screen here. I'm going to talk about the immune system and inflammation. As we know, our immune system is critical, and we definitely want to start really paying attention more so, especially nowadays, as you know, with everything going on, to keep a strong immune system. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and I want to do a presentation for you. So I want to talk about the immune system, like I said, and inflammation, and run through some slides. And I hope that this brings you some insight, and you are always welcome to get in touch with me, wellness@sandijstar.com. I'll have a slide at the end as well with my contact info. So there's a difference between acute and chronic inflammation. So when we think about acute inflammation, that's actually a controlled short-term inflammatory response that is actually a good thing, right? So if we get injured or we burn ourselves, we have an accident, whatever that may be, or we have an infection that we need to fight, our temperature jacks up, right? And there's a reason for that. And it's actually a good thing to have a temperature if you're fighting something in your system you need to get rid of. So that's a natural response. And what happens is the body does what it needs to do. It puts all that energy, circulation, everything into that area that needs to be repaired. And then once that's done, the body calms down and goes back to like homeostasis, a balance, right? So with inflammation that becomes chronic, that's ongoing. That is constant inflammation, which is not a good thing. And this is what we go after, is that kind of inflammation when we want to do some healing. So there are several things that cause chronic inflammation. There's one of the biggest things really that I see in my practice is chronic infections or injuries in the systems that were never addressed, right? If you have a parasite, for example, that's going to take a lot of your energy. It's going to eat your nutrients. And so systemically, you're going to have some issues with that. And if it isn't addressed and taken care of, taken out, then it is going to be a chronic condition. So autoimmune, that happens when the body is chronically inflamed. And then what happens, it starts attacking itself. I actually was diagnosed with Sjogren's, which is where the body attacks the moisture production. I dehydrated severely. That was one of my biggest problems in my late 30s, and before I really started getting into the holistic realm. And so anytime you have an autoimmune, your body's attacking itself, it gets confused. And so that is a chronic inflammatory condition. So these are not good things, right? So we can be affected with this by being exposed to irritants, chemicals, pollution, which, honestly, some of the stuff we cannot get away from. We're talking exposure daily, right? But if we have a healthy immune system, we can really go to battle with a lot of this stuff as long as we have a strong immune system. So that's what makes the difference. And we know that a sad diet really influences a lot. Diet in general can influence. It is literally our medicine. So we want to kind of be in the middle, right? So a balanced immune system is just optimal. It's just running efficiently. And what happens is if it overreacts, you start being allergic to a lot of things, even environmental foods. You have autoimmune problems, again, like Hashimoto's, IBD, like you name it. There's a lot of different autoimmunes. In my case, it was Sjogren's. If it's underreactive, that's when people get cancer, because the body's not actually balanced to clear out cells and to have turnover and detoxification, right? And then infections will come in when you have an underactive immune system. So again, it's all about balance. And these are some of the disorders, if you will, with chronic inflammation. A lot of people are dealing with this stuff. A lot of joint pain, arthritis, just a lot of inflammation in the body. Diabetes is literally chronic inflammation. Any infections, or like I said, any long-term injuries that are never healed. Crohn's disease, again, colitis, GI disorders. There's a whole slew of them. Anytime you're chronically inflamed, you're going to have some kind of systemic reaction. This is something I like to always bring up because it is such an epidemic in our country, these metabolic conditions, right? And this, I believe, was a few years ago. So we don't know really after COVID kind of how we're being affected, because some of these weren't addressed, or they got worse because we were in a crisis. So diabetes, what I will say with diabetes is most of it is type 2, which is diet and lifestyle related, meaning it's reversible. So type 2 diabetes is absolutely reversible with proper diet and lifestyle, meaning exercise, stress management, things like that. High blood pressure is crazy. 46% of US adults have hypertension. That to me is crazy. These are things that are treatable holistically and through diet and lifestyle. So obesity, this is a huge one. 70% of Americans are overweight, and that's not going in a good direction, honestly. I was 60 pounds overweight, funny enough, many years ago. I have had this weight off of me for decades now. And I have a lot of people with weight loss for long-term results, right? It's not about a quick fix. It's about diet and lifestyle. And putting that in place where it's doable in your life, where it actually has balance for you. So again, children 1 in 3, which is alarming. And we can see that with the food that we're eating, and the processed food in our food industry is just crazy in how they are feeding poison, and I'm going to come out and say that it is really about, again, what you put in your body, right? So inflammatory diet triggers. Sugar is a huge problem. I have a slide coming up on sugar I want to go through, because I don't think people realize how sugar affects the immune system. Trans fat, so processed food, chips, bad crackers, things like that. Processed meats, any kind of fake food. High fructose corn syrup is absolutely toxic. In fact, it has heavy metals, which is a neurotoxin, which is not good for the brain or the nervous system. Usually gluten and cow dairy, for the most part, they are very inflammatory foods. Obviously sugar in drinks, sodas, fried foods, and then just fake margarine, like fake butter, things like that. Any kind of fake food, right? And processed. Lifestyle triggers, obviously, right? Smoking, a lot of alcohol use, being sedentary all the time, not really working out there outside. I go out and do my walks. It's just amazing to be outside in fresh air, get my exercise in, get the circulation going. Even if you walk 20 minutes or 10 minutes around the block, it all makes a difference. Poor diet, again, that's critical. As a nutritionist, I always go back to the diet, and actually that's 90% of everything is diet. The inflammation, gum disease, things like that. Poor sleep. I say vitamin D deficiency, which I say that because vitamin D is critical for the immune system, also for bone and all of that. But vitamin D is usually low on most labs if you're not supplementing it. We don't absorb like we used to. And you still have to absorb the vitamin D when you go out in the sun. And if your system isn't optimal, you're not absorbing it. So it doesn't just mean you go out in the sun and you get vitamin D. You literally have to be able to absorb it into your cells, inside your cells. And that is a process. So again, that's all about having a healthy immune system and not having chronic inflammation. Allergies, definitely triggers, right? And then leaky gut, I'll talk about that in a second. That is a permeability issue in the GI tract, which is more common than you think and can cause a lot of problems. And then stress, I say mismanagement, right? We all have stress every day, all the time. There's stress, but it's how we manage it and how we get through things. And again, that's when your tribe's so important, people around you. Our immune system is literally our defense, right? And so leaky gut, I talked about that. These are the triggers for it, and things that can happen when we have GI disorders, right? There's a lot of them. Again, autoimmune skin issues really stem from the gut. So that includes acne, you name it. It all goes back to the gut. So gut health, immune system, inflammation, they all tie together. So leaky gut really means, if you look on the left, you see tight junctions, that's healthy. Nothing's coming in, right? What's inside are these are your cells that are pulling, they're actually pulling in nutrients into your bloodstream so that your organs get fed, your tissues get fed, your body gets fed, right? On the right, what happens if the tight junctions open, you have permeability issues where undigested food gets in, causes havoc. It's like total chaos. And systemically, you get chronic inflammation. It can literally go to your organs. It's extremely dangerous long-term. And then you get this reaction where your T cells and B cells are activated. And then all of a sudden, for example, Hashimoto's, that will go right to your thyroid and attack it. So leaky gut is very common with autoimmune, is kind of the bottom line here, but you can tell there's a lot of problems that can happen with a leaky gut. So that's why I always look at gut health and run labs for that as well, to make sure we can get that gut balanced and in good shape so that these things don't happen. And if they did, we go ahead and heal that. It makes all the difference. I want to throw this slide in because I feel that most of the time what happens is we're going to medications first and foremost if we go to the doctor, and it's not their fault, that's how they're trained, but it's all about getting underneath to the root cause. That's why I do root cause healing, because it's really, really important to figure out what caused this to begin with. And sometimes medications might be okay short term, but you still got to figure out what happened, right? And there are side effects to this. So we have a lot of prescriptions written, 3,200 per pharmacy per month in the US. That's a lot of money to be made and a lot of prescriptions that are written. And a lot of these do a lot of damage long-term. So we really got to question why we're taking what we're taking. And then also, I will say there's deficiencies that happen with taking medications. You will lack nutrients. It will take nutrients away from you. It can do damage. For example, a statin. If you don't take CoQ10 with a statin, you can get damage to the heart muscle. And so sometimes what we're taking to help with something can actually damage the thing we're trying to protect. So we've got to be really careful with medications. Really look at what we're taking, really work with somebody on what the whole deal is with that. Spend some time on it. It's not something you just grab and take because you think it's a cure-all. It is not, absolutely not. One of the things I mentioned earlier was sugar. Sugar can affect the immune system by 40 to 50%, which is huge. What it does, it kills good bacteria, and that's really what fights for us is the bacteria. We want to have the good guys in there. It's like our first line of defense, right? So sugar will definitely drop the immune system. Sugar also feeds cancer cells. Sugar causes inflammation. So we really got to watch our sugar. For women, I would stick around 25 grams a day. We're looking at like processed stuff, you know, fruit, not necessarily, but you don't want to eat a ton of fruit either. Men, I'd probably say about, I don't know, maybe 35 grams. It kind of just depends on you, your activity, that type of thing. But if you even think about 25 grams a day, that could be almost one bar, right? Like a bar you think is healthy can have a lot of added sugar. So I would just challenge you to just kind of start looking at food labels and how much sugar you're actually taking in every day. It's changed a lot through the years, and it is hidden in everything. And that is why we have heart disease, diabetes, you name it, chronic inflammation, is because of this type of stuff that's in our diet. So healthy gut, healthy immune system, right? So we really got to feed what we need to have optimal health. This is beautiful. Good food here, right? Good balance, whole food. I always go organic because if I can avoid glyphosate, which is a neurotoxin, or modified foods, GMOs, then I know I'm at least getting something a little healthier, or I should say a lot healthier. In fact, vegetables have like 25 to 30% more nutrients in organic. Or go to your local farmers market if you have access to that. And I will say a lot of these guys may not be certified organic, but they still don't spray. And so it's very expensive to get that certification. So just get to know your local farmers. So again, just colorful foods. And what's interesting, it does work on each body system. So if you look at the red, you think about blood, you think about circulation, which again, for the immune system is really important with the viruses. They're usually like blood, right? Meaning they're in the circulation, in the circulatory system. And so we need to give it nutrients to be able to help each system in our body. So again, it's about balance, about having a little bit of everything and having balance. This is kind of a cool slide because you think about it, ginger helps the stomach. We know that. So have some ginger tea, citrus, women's breast, grapes for the lungs, or even cauliflower, right? Walnuts for the brain. They're full of omegas. We know carrots with the carotene for the eyes. Tomatoes, circulatory, heart, right? And if you almost look at those side to side, they look similar, like in the shapes, right? Think about walnut with the brains. Inside of a tomato looks almost like a heart. It's pretty awesome, right? Sweet potatoes and pancreas, super good for digestion. They also feed good bacteria because they've got good fiber. Women, avocados, for sure, good fats, right? So I think this is pretty cool. Things we can do, just a well-balanced, healthy diet, eat real food, whole food, organic as much as possible. Make sure you're detoxing on a daily basis with exercise. Make sure you're eliminating every day, that you're drinking tons of water, you're eating healthy fibers, prebiotic foods such as legumes, garlic, beans, even bananas, and things like that. Cabbage, all the cruciferous vegetables are fabulous for that. Herbs and spices are amazing to use, and those will absolutely help, like antifungal. They help inflammation. I always think of rosemary as rose memory. So they always have fabulous benefits to them and the immune system. One thing I always talk about too is hydration, right? Especially somebody who had Sjogren's that was so dehydrated. It was crazy how much water I drank and still was dehydrated. But I will say, you can kind of tell when you're dehydrated. Your urine's got a lot of dark yellow to it. You will feel tired. Your blood cells can be affected. So you can tell that hydration with good clean water, by the way, not tap water. Try not to drink plastic bottled water, things like that. Just get a really good source of like a good electrolyte water. It's good for skin. It helps lubricate your joints. It helps the GI tract tremendously, delivers oxygen. So water is the best thing you could drink ever. I love water. Thank God. I just love it. And it's a good thing. Like, find a water you like to taste too. That makes a difference. You want to also look at your environment, protecting yourself from mold. Mold is huge. And we look at chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, even people that just have certain infections. I mean, it's like, we got to really eliminate that mold and make sure that is not one of those underlying triggers that's causing it, or, you know, exasperating it. Sleep, we know sleep's critical, right? That's when we repair, is when we sleep. That's when we recover, when we sleep. So sleep's critical. Stress management, I mentioned that. Hydration. If you drink coffee or caffeine, drink extra water, like an extra glass on top of what you normally take if you're drinking anything that's got caffeine, because it will be a diuretic. Again, sugar, we talked about. Eat good fats. Do not be afraid of fats. Fats are actually super healthy fats. Avocado. I cook with avocado oil. I do not cook with olive oil because it does not handle high heat. So make sure you still have those in your diet, but be careful what you cook with. Olive oil is great for definitely salad dressings, of course, but like a light saute, never cook high heat with that. Again, avocado oil is fabulous for that. Grapeseed as well, and coconut. So again, mindset's critical, right? And then stay active and connected. We've got to stay connected with our community, especially right now. We really need that support, that love, the security of what we surround ourselves with to be positive and supportive. So critical. So that's like a really important one, is to really stay connected, have your tribe is what I call it. And definitely really look at, for me, it's church. My church community is critical. Just really being grounded in that is super important. So immune support plan, I just want to touch on this. I have set this up and blended some custom supplements together along with, it's a 28-day, 30-day plan. So it comes with the supplements, and I'll go through those in a minute, for the immune system to help really support it with some good therapeutic doses. I also use a app called Well World, which will give you a meal plan. You can track everything, including movement, mood, elimination. You can set goals. I mean, it's really awesome. I love using it. I actually use it and just give myself like a cool plan, and so that I can keep tracking. It's great. We just did that with the 14-day reset. So I had some people that love that. So again, you can track everything. You have what to eat, what not to eat. It's an anti-inflammatory, basically, plan where you're eating real food and you're definitely eating. So it's not, it's just eliminating the inflammatory foods. Again, cow dairy, gluten. So this is a really good guide. And then you can also message me through the app. So there's just a lot of things in this package. It's all inclusive. And then you'll get daily reminders, motivation, so that we can really kind of really keep you on track with this and really get your system supported and get it on track with getting stronger. So the BioFizz Immune tastes amazing. So Designs for Health, they're definitely my favorite. And they've got some great products. They are third-party tested. These are nutraceuticals. They're pharmaceutical grade, meaning you get what's in that label. You absolutely get a guarantee on that. You're not guessing on anything, especially coming through a practitioner. When I prescribe things, I prescribe them with the dose that's appropriate, and to work on different systems, so to speak. So this one is actually just really ramping up the immune system. And I will say too, this is a powder you put in water and it will go right into your system. You don't even digest it. It literally goes into your system. So super easy to take, and it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Vitamin C, vitamin D, also zinc, potassium. So there's some really good nutrients in this, all in like a fizzy drink. And for those who love a fizzy drink, these are great to take. I like the I like this a lot, but I also like the electrolytes that they have. It also has vitamin C in it. So there's some great stuff in this. Immunotone Plus, I've been taking this for quite a while, especially the last couple of years. This is just an herbal formula that has some herbs in here that are really good for virus protection, so to speak. And then the mushrooms, of course, for the immune system. But green tea, we know, is amazing. We've got elderberry, astragalus, echinacea. Those 3 ingredients alone are super, super awesome for an immune blend. So the Immunotone Plus is fabulous. You can take this long term. I take this all the time. And this is just kind of one of my baseline supplements that I take. So that's included. And then the ProBiomed 50, this is 50 billion colony. And you can see all the different strains, which is also important to have the different strains and a proprietary blend of them. So this one is shelf stable, which I am an advocate on, because a lot of the probiotics, they say, oh, you have to keep it in the fridge. Well, when it gets trucked across the country, or it gets, moved or packed or whatever, when it needs to be refrigerated, it's not as potent and it's not as stable, I would say. So this one's awesome. I will actually usually do this also when I want to ramp up my immune system. It's a really good therapeutic dose of a probiotic that is also included in this. So those 3 are included. Great ways to get in the immune system with a lot of different herbs and nutrients and probiotics to get your system strong. So again, what I mentioned, what it includes, it's all inclusive, available online. 2 options. So you do get a call with me to get you all set up, get you on the Well World app, get your products to you, and just have a conversation. Okay, what is this going to look like for you? What do we need to focus on? So that's the option 1. Option 2 is having a call with me during the program or towards the end of the program, kind of give you some next step options for you, some next step some insight, some tips, just helping you get to that next step of what that looks like. So there is 2 options. You can choose either one, and you can find it on sandijstar.com/shop. Or feel free to contact me. Here's my phone number, my email, and again, my website. So hopefully that was helpful. And I'm going to stop sharing there, but I just really love sharing. And I really think right now we've got to really start focusing on the immune system more, but definitely also being aware of what we're putting in our body. Is it being used for medicine? Yes, diet should be medicine, right? Keeping a healthy immune system. 75% of our immune system is in the gut. And I probably should have said this earlier, but just a reminder, that's our immune system, super critical to keep it strong. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you soon.